Have a little faith, I say. Have a little faith, my friend. We got to help each other through the thick and thin. These are trying times that we're living in. So have a little faith, I say. Have a little faith, my friend. Have a little faith, my friend. We got trouble everywhere around the world. There's not a safe place to be for a woman, man, boy, or girl. And everywhere you turn, there's destruction and pain. You get a mouthful of promises and a handful of rain. So have a little faith, I say. Have a little faith, my friend. We got to help each other through the thick and thin. These are trying times that we're living in. So have a little faith, I say. Have a little faith, my friend. Oh. There's evil all around us. We gotta rise above. We gotta fight the good fight with that war we love. Hold on and hold on, and help is on the way. There's a better tomorrow. I can feel it today. Have a little faith, my say. Have a little faith, my friend. We got to help each other through the thick and thin. These are trying times that we're living in. So have a little faith, I say. Have a little faith, my friend. Have a little faith, I say. Have a little faith, my friend. We gotta help each other through the thick and thin. These are trying times that we live in. So have a little faith, I say. Have a little faith, my friend. Oh, have a little faith, I say. Have a little faith, my friend. Have a little faith. Trying times. These are trying times and we're living in. So have a little faith, I say. Have a little faith, my friend. So have a little faith, my friends.
Yeah. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Bellevue. I am Reverend Charles Perry, and I'm the senior minister here at Unity of Bellevue. And I want to welcome all of you to our celebration service today. I know it is a glorious first Sunday morning of summer out there, and so I'm glad to see all of you here this morning. All right? You know, if you're new here, one of the things we want you to know about us is that you are welcome, accepted, safe, and celebrated here regardless of your race, creed, color, ethnicity, national origin, religious background, sexuality, gender identity, economic status, or if you are a person of different abilities. You are the divine in expression, whoever you are, wherever you are on life's journey, and you are welcome here. Also, if you're new, we want you to know that we have a welcome table just outside the sanctuary doors on the left there. And after the service, you can pick up a little welcome packet that's got a lot of information about our church here in Bellevue and about the Unity movement worldwide. If you would, grab one of those. Inside it, you will find a connection card that you can fill out, give us some information about you, and you can sign up for our email newsletter. Those connection cards are also located in the seat backs in front of you if you just want to fill one of those out and give it to our ushers this morning. Also, if you are online, and good morning to all of our folks online, yay, even in your pajamas, here you are being all sacred and holy and stuff. Good on you, right? So if you're online and you would like to get one of those welcome packets, just go to our website, www.unityofbellevue.org, and go to the I'm New page, and you can fill out a form, and we will mail you one of those packets. Also, if all you'd like to do is just sign up for our e-newsletter, you can go to the bottom of any page on our website and fill out a little form there, and we'll get you hooked up. Unity, as our name implies, believes in the oneness of all that is. And we like to affirm that with our statement of being together. There is only one presence and one power, active as my life and as the universe, God the good, omnipotent. Unity is a positive, practical, progressive approach to Christianity based on the teachings of Jesus. I say again, the teachings of Jesus and the power of prayer. Unity honors the universal truths in all religions and respects each individual's right to choose a spiritual path. We like to begin everything that we do with prayer, so won't you please join me in prayer now? Sweet Spirit, we are so grateful for this time we get to spend together, and we are now fully aware of the divine life and divine love and divine wisdom expressing as each and every one of us. And as we come together, we join in divine purpose to be the Christ expressing here in Bellevue and wherever we are in the wide world. So it is. And so we let it be. Amen. Our music director, Tony, is out with a really bad cold today, so let's all hold Tony in prayer when we get around to saying our prayers today. And help me welcome Todd Kimbrough, our guest artist. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody. Please stand as you are able. We're going to do this one. You know this one by now? I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Yeah. All right. Everybody back up. Please remain standing.
That's right.
Tony Serzo did not say go.
Okay.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
All right.
You may be seated.
Now please be seated.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
So now is the time in our service when we turn within. And I invite you to relax, take a few deep cleansing breaths. Allow yourself to become comfortable where you are. If you have anything in your hands, you can lay that aside. Really become comfortable where you're sitting. Close your eyes if that feels good to you. Just breathe for a second. And allow yourself to leave behind any of the thoughts that you carried in, any of the worries and fears, any of the hopes and dreams, any of the plans for the rest of the day, any of the stuff that you came in with. Just let that stuff go. It's okay. It'll still be there. It is true that our thoughts are prayers. And so what we want to get to is the realization that in consciousness, we are not our thoughts. We are the thinker of our thoughts, and we can choose not to think them. We are that which sees. We are that point of power and consciousness that can see our thoughts, can engage with our thoughts, and can let our thoughts go. I want you to imagine from your seat of consciousness that your mind is a stream flowing by your feet. Every thought is perhaps a little stick or maybe even a large log. But you are watching them move by, just choosing to observe at the moment. When a thought comes up, you can just let it go. You can catch that thought later. The point is to be open to receive. If our thoughts, our prayers, this place of silence, this seat of consciousness is the place that we listen for Spirit's gentle nudging, where insight comes to us, where inspiration comes to us when we become still, when we become quiet. We can hear that still, small voice if we allow ourselves. And so I invite all of us to sit beside our thought stream, allow those thoughts to go by, and to commune with God as we sit for a moment in the silence. These sacred moments in the quiet, when we allow the crazy to recede into the distance, when we let go, even if only for a few moments, all of those mental activities, the hopes, the dreams, the worries, the fears, the resentments, the forgiveness, all of it. Just let it go. Very often when we come out in that centered place, we know something we needed when we went in. We didn't have to figure it out. We didn't have to worry at it. We simply let it emerge from divine mind. And sometimes maybe all we needed was a little peace, a little trust, a little intimacy with the universe in the way that our brother Jesus called it Abba, which means daddy in Aramaic. We just need to feel loved, and we just need to feel held. And it's all around us all the time, just waiting for us to let go, to come home. To open our hearts and minds to that presence that is always, always with us. For that blessing of the eternal presence of Spirit, and for all of the gifts it brings us, we give thanks. So it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
All of you be of one mind, humble and loving and tender and kind. Do not repay evil for evil. Do not repay insult for insult. Return instead a blessing, for you were called to bless. Inherit the promise of God. Finally, all of you be of one mind, humble and loving and tender and kind. Finally, all of you be of one mind, humble and loving and tender and kind. Do not repay evil for evil. Do not repay insult for insult. Return instead a blessing, for you are called to bless. Inherit the promise of God. Inherit the promise of Finally, all of you be of one mind. Finally, all of you be of one mind. Finally, all of you be of one mind. Finally, all of you be of one mind.
Yeah. Whew. Thank you. Thank you so much. Todd, Jamie, Eric. Yeah. Having to follow that is a good problem to have, right? So before I get started on my talk today, just a quick little update. I spent this last week at Unity Village at the Unity People's Convention. So that's where I got this really cool t-shirt, right? It's Unity on it. I got it from the gift store. And, partially to help honor Pride Month, got all the rainbow colors going on. And Village People on the back. For those of us old enough to remember them, right? So there are good things that I could report on, and there's been some tough stuff going on in the denomination. About a month ago, the Board of Trustees released the president and CEO, and there was, a good deal of hubbub about that. And there were several of us, myself included, who told the Board of Trustees exactly how we felt about that. We will persevere. They are still in discernment, and as much as I fussed at them, I also love a lot of them. Some of them I know very, very, very well. One of the board, he and I were on the Board of Trustees at Christ Church Unity in Orlando almost 2 decades ago, when we went through a ministerial transition. Our very beloved minister, Gene Lynch, he was tired and he resigned. And we ended up finding Alice Anderson, who just took that church and went right through the roof with it. But Don he's a good friend still. And even though I had to call him to task, they're good people and they're doing the best they can. So one of the things that they've told us is that they're not in a hurry to find a new CEO. They're in discernment. And one of the things I found very hopeful is that the chair of the Board of Trustees of Unity World Headquarters, which is a separate organization, they take care of Unity Village and the printing like the Daily Word and the prayer ministry, Silent Unity, that we can call, right? They actually spent the night before we had this big get together with the chair and assistant chair of UWM, and I think there may be some impetus for us to move together and have one big organization in unity, which it hasn't been that way since the 1960s, and so I'm very prayerful in what our movement has in store going forward, and I invite you to join me in prayer for our movement. Could we survive without them? Yeah, sure, we could still have a church here. And we do better with support. I, as a minister, do better with support. Those of you who are getting into the flow of things, our board does better with board training from Unity. Our music team does better with music support from Unity. And, when we get our YFM back up and running, boy, are they going to do better with the curriculum and the camps and all the other support that we get from Unity. So please help me hold them in our prayers. Amen? Okay. So the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about the basic principles of unity. As I've been trying to lay a groundwork since I got here 9 months ago. It's like so we can have, a common frame of reference. One of the things that's important, and we talk about it a lot in Unity, is our 5 basic principles. So we've already gone through principle 1, which is kind of the unity principle, and it's essentially what we affirmed earlier, that there's only one presence and one power. We don't live in a dualistic universe where we have, God and the angels on this side and Satan and the demons and whatnot over here on this side, right? Anybody watch The Good Place? The TV show with Ted. Yeah, it's not like that. It's a fun TV show. I was just telling somebody today that my wife and I watch it while we're eating dinner. Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun, but it is theologically bankrupt. Okay, right? It's not like that, right? It's one. We're one. Now, because of that, when we understand that, we understand a lot of things about ourselves. One of those things is we are not originally sinful. We're originally divine. Okay, so that leads us to principle number 2. You are divine. You are not sinful, right? You are a beloved child of God. You're not dipped in sin the minute you get slapped on the butt and start screaming. Okay? You are good, right? We are all good. Now, some of us make choices later on in life that buries that good down, pretty far. Not naming any names, okay? But that's the way it is. So the fact that we are divine then leads us, by kind of, logical progression to today's topic, which is that by our thoughts and feelings, we co-create our reality with the divine, right? We have that power. Now, the kind of the old-fashioned unity way of saying this is we call it the law of mind action. These days, I would probably call it the quantum tendency of mind action, but I could go way down a rabbit hole there. I'm going to leave that rabbit hole over there. All right? Yeah, I guess seriously I could. But the law of mind action says that thought, and Denise, brought it into our prayer circle earlier this morning. Thoughts held in mind, and usually these days we add with feeling, produce after their own kind. Thoughts held in mind with feeling produce after their own kind. Now, the sort of happy little corollary of that is not every thought you ever think. And thank God for that, right? Because we'd all probably get in a lot of trouble if every one of our thoughts, produced immediately as we thought it. Now, these are the things that we focus on and we think repeatedly that are meaningful to us, right? Those are the things that tend to show up in our reality. So where did this come from? How did we come to this? Well, in Unity, we go back to how Unity began. One of our two co-founders, Myrtle Fillmore, she and her husband Charles founded Unity. Myrtle healed herself from tuberculosis at a time when it was basically a death sentence. She had about 6 months. It's kind of like being someone who found out they were HIV positive in 1986, right? You had 6 months and you were gone. So at a certain point after her diagnosis, she went to hear a fellow speak, and what she heard him say was, "You are a child of God and you do not inherit sickness." So she went home and she started practicing that. And so what Myrtle did was every day for at least 2 hours, she would work with her body mentally, right? What she did was she apologized to the parts of her body that she had thought there was something wrong with. She apologized to her lungs. She apologized to her blood, to her liver, to all the parts. And then she affirmed that they were whole and healthy and filled with vibrant life. And she did this for a couple hours every day. 6 months passed, Myrtle's still with us. A year passes, she's still chugging along. Year and a half passes, she's actually looking better, and within 2 years, she was completely free of tuberculosis. So this got her husband interested, and between the two of them, they started studying the stuff from that guy that she had heard in Chicago. And the next thing you know, they're starting to publish things. They started a little magazine or like a pamphlet that they would send out, and they started having study groups. And here we are in a Unity church because it grew out of that. So this particular power, and it's funny, when they got going, one of the things that they did was they actually saw patients. Myrtle and Charles would see about 20 patients a day. I have a feeling if I hung a shingle out there that I would probably get arrested for, practicing medicine without a license, right? So we can't do that really today. But we can still heal. We can still use these principles to heal. Mostly today, we work on healing emotionally and mentally from the things that have happened to us, right? But, honestly, this stuff will still help you heal from some other things, right? So coming forward, so there's this urban myth about this doctor who was basically drafted in the Second World War. And there are two different versions of it. One is he started injecting patients with distilled water when they ran out of morphine because they seemed to be affected by it, at least some of them did. And the other one is that he saw a nurse doing that and asked her, "Hey, nurse, what are you doing?" She said, "Doc, we're out of morphine, and it seems to help these guys." What we know for sure is that when he went home, he went back to Harvard Medical School. His name was Henry Beecher. And in 1955, he published the first peer-reviewed paper studying what scientists refer to as the placebo effect, but what we in Unity call mental healing. Let's just call it what it is, okay? You don't need to give it a Latin name for it to be legit, all right? Now, unlike our founders, Charles and Myrtle, today we understand that mental healing doesn't necessarily cover everything that's wrong with you. That the efficacy of it is primarily based in those things that are affected by your immune system, okay? Those are the ones that our mind really seems to be able to grab a hold of and do something with. And that's from peer-reviewed studies like, the ones that Henry Beecher did. Now, there have been some people who've called some of his methodology in 1955 into question, but these days, the placebo effect is so effective that the FDA uses it to study and approve new drugs. All right, they do those double-blind studies with a placebo. And if this new drug doesn't beat the placebo by, I think it's like 10% at least, they're like, yeah, no, that's junk, get it out of here. And what's been distressing the drug companies is that over the years, the placebo effect is getting more powerful, right? Why do you suppose that is? It's because we have more faith in modern medicine than, we did say back in the day when they were still using leeches, right? We honestly believe, hey, that new medicine they've got, that's really good stuff. So the more we believe in it, the more efficacious it is in taking care of us. All right, so that's not a bad problem to have. My wife, Laura, before she came here and started working for Seattle U, was working for the largest healthcare system in Louisiana. And she relayed to me a conversation that she had with an oncologist. And this oncologist told her that basically, he's like, almost everybody that really believes they're going to beat cancer beats it. And the people that don't think they are die. And I know that's anecdotal evidence, but boy, is it ever, strong evidence coming from a guy that's out there in the trenches fighting that stuff. As we look back at the past of it, I'm going to take a couple of minutes and just kind of give you a little, tour through history. The earliest incidents we have of someone using a placebo effect for a study was Benjamin Franklin. And what he was trying to do was disprove Anton Mesmer, mesmerism, the hypnotist, right? He's trying to disprove Mesmer. Now, Mesmer didn't really know how his stuff worked, and he had this idea that it worked with magnets. So Franklin sets up this experiment that involves trees and magnets, and it's all a scientific mess, right? What's interesting to me is that Mesmer's theories were picked up by an American watchmaker who lived in Massachusetts. His name was Phineas Parkhurst Quimby. And he started doing studies with hypnotizing people. And he found this one guy that was a really great subject. And what he observed in this guy was when he would hypnotize him and tell him things about his body, he could actually see physical reactions on the guy's body. Like if he told him it was burned, he would actually, like his arm might swell up and turn red, right? So he theorized that he could heal people by engaging their minds, and he began doing this. This is back in the early part of the 19th century. And he actually got so good at it, people, kept going to him and going to him. They wore him out and he died early. But one of his patients was a woman named Mary Patterson. And Mary was in such bad shape when her husband found Quimby that he had to get help, and they would carry her upstairs to where Quimby had his watch shop and his office, in this upstairs office that he had. I had to carry her up there to get to him. And by working with him, over time, she completely recovered. And a couple of marriages later, Mary Baker Eddy published the text for Christian Science. Now, Mary swore up and down that it was all, channeled straight to her from God, but most of us who study this stuff are pretty sure she probably threw some of this stuff that she learned from Phineas Parkhurst Quimby in there, right? Now, one of the things Mary does with Christian Science is she starts publishing a magazine. And one of her really intelligent and really wonderful students takes over as co-editor of the magazine. And as happened with Mary a lot of times over the years, she ended up having a fallout with this woman. And Emma Curtis Hopkins, who was that woman, went on to start teaching other people about these principles, one of whom was E.B. Weeks, the man that Myrtle Fillmore heard in Chicago. And what happened later on down the line is both Myrtle and Charles went back to Emma Curtis Hopkins, became students of hers, and were ordained by her. It's pretty cool, huh? Okay. Thing about this is that this is not just something that affects our bodies, okay? This idea that our minds affect our reality goes way out beyond it. Now, I'm not really going to get into talking about like The Secret today, if you're familiar with that, the book, the movie. Basically the idea that if you think about it long enough, it's going to land in your lap, even if it's a beautiful house or a new car or whatever. I will say that there is a piece to that, right, where if you keep the thing, whatever the thing is, in your mind, and you keep engaging it emotionally, and then you move your feet in the real world, it's very likely that eventually those things that you desire will come your way. As I like to say, if you're going to pray for potatoes, you better grab a hoe. That's H-O-E. For anybody wondering about that, right? But, the idea is that we keep moving in that direction. And again, when I go back to my quantum theory that I didn't go down the rabbit hole with, in all the possible quantum realities out there that we could be moving into, when we choose to think a certain way, it affects our behavior a certain way, and it moves us towards a sheaf of quantum realities, and in some of those is exactly what we're looking for. So we buy the house, we get the job, we get the car, we fall in love with someone who is absolutely perfect for us, whatever it might be. Yes, that happens. But maybe the most powerful thing is the ability it gives us to negotiate our lives day to day. Like, what is happening to me right now? I get to choose how I think about that. One of my favorite examples of this, and I wish I could find the image. I've looked and looked all over the internet for it, and I can't find it. But those motivational posters that people, often have in sales offices, they all start with that little kitten, that was hanging up here like this, and they say, "Hang in there, baby," right? So I saw one once, and being a retired soldier, it really appealed to me. And it was a couple of soldiers on a confidence course. That's what we call obstacle courses now, right? It really is a better word for it, because we're not there trying to put obstacles in the ways of our soldiers. We're trying to give them confidence that you can overcome these things, right? So they're on a confidence course, and they've reached the mud pit. Every confidence course has a mud pit, right? You are going to get dirty. I promise you, all right? So great big, just nasty pit of mud, and there's these two soldiers who have obviously just fallen into it, and their fronts, like the front half of them, is just brown. They're caked in mud about an inch thick, and they're kind of leaning forward. They've obviously just fallen, and they're pushing themselves up like this. So the guy on the right looks like he's about to cry. I mean, he is just having an awful day. Guy on the left, his eyes are real big, and he looks like the Cheshire Cat because he's got a grin going up just from ear to ear. He is having the time of his life. They're in the same mud pit, right? That's the power of our thoughts. I get to choose my reality, right? Doesn't matter if I'm in the mud pit or in a doctor's office or I just, had a flat tire or whatever. I get to choose how I encounter this reality. I don't want to misquote this guy because he is an important human being. Viktor Frankl, in Man's Search for Meaning, says that everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms. To choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. That's a guy that survived the Holocaust through the power of his mind. And, he talks about that in Man's Search for Meaning. He kind of walks us through what it took for him internally, mentally, to set himself up for survival. And just like with those cancer patients that oncologist was talking with Laura about, what he says is basically the people that went into the camps thinking they were going to die there, died there. But there were people like him who believed they could survive, and they did. I can't even begin to describe what those horrors must have been like. A couple of years ago, I went to Dachau, and even 80 years after, it's a horrifying place. And you can feel it the minute you walk on the grounds. It's oppressive and terrifying. If human beings can use their minds to get through that, we can get through pretty much anything, We have the ability. We can create our reality. William Shakespeare said, "Nothing in the world is good or bad, but thinking makes it so." This week, I'm going to invite us all to examine our thoughts. And again, to move back to that place, that I was talking about in meditation, that seat of consciousness. And just be aware of what our thought stream is doing. Am I currently judging things negatively? Am I expecting bad things to happen? Am I catastrophizing? Or am I creating a world I really want to live in? Am I helping to be that Christ, that anointed, that loving, creative, compassionate person, creating a world that works for all? Won't you please join me in prayer? Sweet Spirit, help us to release those dark thoughts, those negative images, the hopelessness, the despair, the self-judgment, the things that maybe we've been taught, maybe they were ground into us as children, maybe things have been tough in life. And let us open ourselves up to all that is good in our world and to all that is possible. And to remember to be grateful for all the blessings that we currently have, all those that have come to us and all those that are even now on their way. For all of the love and the grace and the wonder that we find in this world. We say thank you. Thank you, sweet Spirit. So it is.
Everyone, this is a song that's been on the radio for the last 40 years. Many of you have heard it. Many of you love it. I welcome you, if you feel inclined to stand up, to sing, to dance. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He took the midnight train going cheap perfume. For a smile they can share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. Strangers waiting up and down the boulevard. There's shadows searching in the night. Streetlights, living justified emotion, hiding somewhere in the night. Working hard to get my fill, and everybody wants a thrill. Paying anything to roll the dice just one more time. Some will win, some will lose, and some are born to sing the blues. No, the movie never ends. It goes on and on and on and on. Strangers waiting up and down the boulevard. There's shadows searching in the night. Streetlights, people living justified emotion, hiding somewhere in the night. Don't stop believing, and hold on to that feeling. Streetlights, people. Don't stop believing, and hold on to that feeling. Streetlights, people. Don't stop believing. Come on, Unity, you feel that feeling. Streetlights, people. Don't stop.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Guys. So next time in our service, when we give back to this place that we're spiritually fed, and those of us who are in membership, we take our piece and say, yeah, I'll carry this part of the load. So if you are giving physically today, and if you're here for the first time, you're just checking us out, don't worry about it. We got this, right? If you're giving physically today, then you're going to come up here and you're going to drop that in here, but everybody gets to come up and pick up one of these little spiritual vitamin pills, right? They're little affirmations for your week. Like this one here says, for me, the powerful presence of God is guiding, sustaining, and uplifting me. So I'm going to take that home and I'm going to stick that on my refrigerator, and I'm going to get some inspiration from that every time I go to the refrigerator, which is probably a little more often than it should be, but this is good stuff right here, okay? So the way we'll do it is come on down. Our usher is going to let you guys know when it's your row's turn. You come up here, you can drop something in and or bless the bowl. Grab that. If you're on this side, go to this thing and go that way. If you're on this side, go that thing, go that way, and we don't have any traffic jams. Amen? So now let's go ahead and bless up our offerings however we give, physically, digitally, or by mail, like I do. And we are going to bless those offerings together. I give freely and fearlessly, fulfilling the law of giving and receiving. This is the bounty of God, and I send it forth with wisdom and joy.
3, 4.
Come on down.
All over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world talk about enjoy and start a love train, love
The
train.
next stop that we make will be in England. Tell all the folks in Russia and China too. Don't you know that it's time to get on board? Let this train keep on riding, riding on through.
People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, a love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. Are you brothers and sisters over in Africa? Tell all the folks in Egypt and Israel too. Please don't miss this train at the station, 'cause if you miss it, I feel sorry, sorry for you. And people all over the world,
Join hands.
join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, a love train. Let it ride, let it ride, let it ride, let it ride. Oh, people all over the world, join hands, start a love train, a love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, a love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train.
There we go. That's right. Yeah. We have fun, right? That's good stuff. Okay, so let me get a final blessing on this love offering and this love train here. Sweet Spirit, we give thanks for this abundance. And we send it forth to do the work of Spirit as lived and taught by our brother and way shower, Jesus the Christ. And we see each gift returning to the givers, not just tenfold, but 100-fold. A good measure heaped up, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And so it is. Amen. All right, our center, I can say these words, Center Administrator Monica with a few announcements.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm glad to be with you this morning. So glad to have you with us if you are visiting. A few quick announcements. If you would like a one-on-one prayer after service, we will have a prayer chaplain here with a white stole, Denise. She will be up here after service to pray with you. So just find her up here. Thank you, Denise, for providing that wonderful ministry for our people. We also have lunch after service in the Friendship Room. All are welcome. Women Connect is hosting that. It's baked ravioli and a lot of wonderful sides, so you don't want to miss that. At 12:30, we have two things happening. We have the Glee Club back in the Uniteam Room. It's all the way back and to the left. If you'd like to sing, please join the Glee Club. They're going to be presenting a special number next week. And more about that, why. And then also at 12:30, we have Diving Deeper Spirit Group. Susan Neidig is leading us in the library and on Zoom. She will be facilitating a discussion on Reverend Charles' message today. So join for a deeper dive into the law of mind action. Next Sunday coming up is our 65th anniversary celebration. Yes, you will, yes. It is wrapping up our month of celebrations. We'll have a special lunch hosted by Shelley Lish. We'll have a walk down memory lane with photos and a timeline you can sign. We also have a Split the Pot Abundance raffle. So if you would like to be in that, you don't have to be here next week to win, but tickets are available today and next Sunday, $5 a piece. You can buy those in the bookstore today. So we'll look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Also, just some things coming up to put on your calendar. Game night on Thursday, July 11th at 6 p.m. More details coming. Youth visioning on Sunday, July 21st after service. And a hike. We're doing our Unity Bellevue Holy Souls hike on Friday, July 19th. And a golf tournament on August 11th. 1, 2, 3, 4. So just put all those on the calendar. Everything's in the newsletter always. And we appreciate you reading those newsletters. They have lots of good information in them. Today we have another recital this afternoon, so if you could help the AV team clear the stage after service, we appreciate that. Also, another big round of applause for our musicians this week, filling in for Tony, Todd, Eric, Jamie. Let's close with a prayer for protection, or peace song, followed by the prayer for protection.
That's the way we do it.
You can stand up.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, uniting all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us.
We are the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
We are the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
We are the power of God.
And the presence of God watches over us.
We are the presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a great week, Unity.
Nice job, man. That was fun.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below.
Love is alive in the space between us. Feel that love right